Awesome. Hey, everybody. Welcome to our Tuesday night Zoom call. Just a heads up, next week we won't be having um, a call. And then I'm thinking, I don't know if we'll do one on Halloween, the last day of the month, or not. So we'll just talk about that. We'll see later. But next week, the leaders, our fully integrated leaders, are going to Sundance, Utah. It is our leadership training event, and we're very, very excited. So tonight I wanted to talk about just some things that were on my mind, the things that I think about daily, the things that have helped me grow, and just little things. I kind of tried to make it a little bit unrandom, but it might be a little bit random. But just the littlest tip that I have learned that has helped me the most. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen, and then we'll have time for questions. So just nuts and bolts. The first thing, what's always helped me, and working with a business coach and learning how to grow a business, was there's two things that you want to think about. First, you have to have the mindset. What's that mindset? And the next thing you have to have is the systems and structures in place so that it can run when you might not be as enthusiastic, as inspired. So there has to be certain, and Dr. A calls them habits. And I love the leadership call 2 weeks ago, and I talked about it a little bit at our training this weekend, that how do we form habits? And it is that mindset, that motivation, and also what can we put in place that we'll do even if we don't feel like it. So, and we all know what that's like too. And with growing our business, we're asking our clients to do the exact same thing. We're asking them to create a mindset of a healthy person rather than a dieter. So for me, mindset, getting very clear on what it is we want to create. And from a bigger standpoint, so in other words, sometimes we look at a rank. Right? We look at, okay, we want to have 5 clients. We want to be an executive director. We want to make a certain amount of money. A lot of times what happens is something will happen in our brain. And so when that happens and it looks like we stop, we get scared or whatever. And so if you can go a little bit general, you want to impact lives, you want to make a difference for people, at some point you want to get specific, but you want to make it so you don't resist. A lot of times when we set a goal, we resist it. And the other thing we do is when we're setting a goal, and like I remember for me, it's like presidential director or integrated global, and it looks like it's out there. And I say, well, I don't have this skill. I look at the other people. I go, I don't have this skill. I don't have this skill. I don't know how to do that. How on earth am I going to support more people? And standing here, I don't have what I need to get over there. But if I step into my future and I go a little more general, well, I want to impact thousands of lives. It felt better for me. I could do that. And along the way, when I'm in a positive frame of mind, I'm able to think, okay, what's the next skill that I want to learn? What's the next thing that I want to add? So finding a place where you don't have resistance to what you're trying to do. And what that looks like is right alignment. I heard this great analogy, if you've heard it, if I've told you, because I just heard it last week and I've told almost anybody I've talked to. But when you have a baby in the birth canal, and the shoulder is a little bit off, the baby won't come down. And so when we're out of alignment, no matter what we do, it's not coming. When we get into alignment, when the shoulders are right, the body's in the right alignment, there's contractions. It's not like flow, but there's a flow. So what I look for, and I would encourage you to look for a flow in your business. I'm always looking for flow. I'm looking for like kind of that walking up a hill. It's a good effort. It's steady, but I can still breathe. And so that's what's always helped me, because our businesses are long run. We don't want to, and my husband was wonderful. He told me about this when I get all upset about something, like if, a coach didn't sign on or wasn't doing well. He goes, Susan, you're not doing this for this month. You're doing this for a long 5 years from now, 10 years from now. You're building something so that the little things along the way won't get you. So that I really encourage you. When I tell you that's helped me more than anything else, it's like the marathon, a long race. And I remember him saying, and you won't even know. You'll have coaches on your team. If this goes the way it's supposed to go, you'll have coaches on your team that you won't even know. So I remember when that first happened, I was like, oh, know you, yay. Like, oh my gosh, it's happening. So anyway, so looking for the long run. What helped me, always think like an entrepreneur and study entrepreneurs, because I thought of myself as a professional health coach. And I looked at, okay, if I'm a professional entrepreneur, but I'm in the service industry, I'm a health coach. Well, I looked at doctors and I asked my doctors, so how did you get started in your practice? One of them said, well, everyone that came in, I gave them 2 cards and asked them if they give them to my friend. And another doctor, I asked that, and he says, well, I did talks in the community. And I met other doctors that would possibly refer to me in the community. So they went around and developed a practice just like I was going to do. And then, eventually I learned to join networking groups, which some of you have done. So an entrepreneur, I love this, you're either up or you're getting up. You're either winning or you're learning. And that's you have to train your mind to just not go down the road of doubt. Just keep going forward. What do you want? And what it comes down to for me is, can I make a difference for someone? And the answer is yes. I know it made a difference for me. I know I can make a difference for someone else. So when I tell you that many days are, can I make a difference for someone? Yes. Go forward. So we always have to keep moving forward. And how are we going to do that? By our mindset. So we create habits, with daily rituals. I've started, I'm tried consistently to meditate. I've started doing one sun salutation, walking my dog. And so I do different daily rituals. I listen to a positive inspirational tape, or YouTube. And so creating those rituals. And also what I do, and I've shared this before, but I put my hand on my heart before I call someone on the phone. And I remember my daughter's playing softball, and she goes, and when athletes, they get in a state of mind, they either listen to some music or they have a routine. And I used to watch some of the athletes, and they used to swing their bats in a way while they were warming up. And I know my daughter says, I want a warm-up swing. She wanted to create that swing. They have things that they say to themselves. The pitcher had a way of, what she said every meal she ate before a game. So create those rituals for yourself so that you know that you're in the frame of mind to work. I work at my desk. I don't like to make calls. A few people I make calls in the car, but I really don't like to, because when I'm at desk, I'm in my frame of mind. Mm-hmm. So your daily habits, how many people are you going to call a day, daily actions, and touching the business daily. I just don't know how you can, there's so much uncertainty and so much, I want to say disappointment, or there can be some discouragement. So if you don't have enough momentum to move forward every day, it's easy to fall back. I would have a hard time to get the momentum up, because there's a tremendous amount of energy it gets to call people or to reach out or to do certain things. So I would set the smallest minimum daily action you could, which is reach out to maybe one person. The best sentence of all, I heard this. And if you don't know something, sometimes people, when we're we're really looking to educate people and help them understand what we can do for them and find out how motivated they are and how ready they are to move forward. But when you get stuck in trying to convince somebody or defend yourself, it is the worst feeling on earth. So the best sentence you can use is, all I know is. All I know is I was able to, lose weight and not be hungry. All I know is my blood sugar went down. All I know is I have more energy. All I know is I've been able to make an income, that I never could before. All I know is I'm getting a lot of people healthy. I'm having a lot of fun. Isn't that good? All I know is. And then you can, especially if you're new, all I know is it's working for me. I'm feeling great. I'd love to set up a time for you to talk to my coach. So you move it to the net. All I know is whatever you've gotten, love to set up a time to show you what I've got. I'd love to hear what you're looking for. All I know is. Another great question. And I learned this. There's a network marketing hero, Eric Worre, has this in his book. And I didn't like it when I first heard it, but I've been using it like the last week or two, and I'm liking it. If I, would you? So if I sent you an invitation, would you be interested in coming to my event on Sunday? If I sent you a video, would you watch it? If I sent you some information about what I do, would you take a look and possibly pass it on? And there's a reciprocality of it versus, because I know a lot of times I'll just send, hey, I'll send you information. Well, I don't know if they want it or not. And so you get a lot of people that aren't responding. This way, you're having them respond. So they're saying, yes, they'll look at it. Yes, and so play with it a little bit and let me know if it works for you, if you find it comfortable to use. Literally, I never found it comfortable until recently. So, but I'm finding it really a good thing. If I would you. All right. This is really good for yourself and for a client maybe, or a coach that's getting discouraged. They're discouraged in their plan. They're discouraged. They're not getting results. So what happened? What would you have liked to have happen? So what happened? Just the facts. Like, try not to what will happen. What happened, and try and keep just the facts. I went off. I cheated. Well, what happened? Like, what did that look like? I always, when they say I cheated, well, what did that look like? And I'm often find that it wasn't quite as bad as someone, oh, I had a piece of pie. Well, did you have anything else? No. Well, have you ever had just a piece of pie and gotten back on plan? Well, no. Well, isn't that good? I mean, come on. So, I mean, so what happened? Just the facts. So if you can find out exactly what happened, what would you have liked to have happen? Great question, because, some people just want to complain or get down about something. What was missing? A lot of times a plan is missing. A phone call, I usually, if someone goes off their plan, I usually check for, well, did you have all your fuelings today? And if most of the time, they didn't just break their plan. Most of the time, they weren't set up for success, and it happened earlier the day or the day before even. Well, no, I've been missing some. Well, oh, great. Well, that sets you up. It's amazing how that happens. And then what's next? Great. What'd you learn from it? And so I think I've put the judger versus the learner mentality. I'll go back to that. So Does that make sense to everybody? I'm going to open it up. I'll stop my share real quick. Okay. Well, one thing here that I missed before I do that. Mindset is being a judger or a learner. And when we come in, when we ask a question or when we're listening, are we judging something like, I'm like, them or us, or are we open mindset learning? Okay, let me stop the share real quick. All right, anybody want to come off mute, and anyone like anything they heard, or questions about something they heard? Has anybody used anything like this before? Suze?
I think those questions that you just stated, like what happened, what would you like to happen, what was missing, what's next, those have been so helpful to coach my clients, without, like you just said, without judging them. So they don't feel like they're being reprimanded or they're being, that we're making a judgment call on them. It's just kind of digging deeper. And I've done that. I've used that with clients and I've gotten into it. And it's like you just said, they, some of them go, oh, wait a minute. I guess I didn't do as bad as I thought I did. They weren't judging themselves. So those are excellent, excellent questions, because it helps us to get into what they're thinking and helps them to realize that, you don't have to beat yourself up because you had that piece of pie. I've asked clients before the program, what would you have done in this situation? And they go, oh my gosh, I would have eaten everything under the sun, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, yeah, but you didn't do it this time, did you? They're like, no, I didn't. And so they realize that they've already made progress, And
Yeah.
so those questions are just so key. They've been
they
so helpful
drama, right?
for me as a coach.
All the drama,
yeah,
thought path,
yeah,
good, bad, right, wrong.
and the beating themselves up, Yeah. They realize, hey, I'm really making progress.
Exactly. And for us too, it's like, okay, what happened? Okay, what did I want to have happen? And it gets us refocused on I really want, because sometimes you don't want to go to a party and not eat. Sometimes you want to go to a party and, and eat. And sometimes it'll come down to, well, I want to eat whatever I want and not gain weight. And I said, I haven't figured that one out yet. That's what it comes down to. So I know that's what you really want, but anything else? Anyone else? Yeah, Deb.
I really liked the thing where you said, if I would you. I know you said that took you a while to get comfortable with that, but I think that's, like for me, I'm like, okay, I'm comfortable with it because I love it. I love it because I know I have done that whole, hey, I'm going to send you blah, 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 so take a look at it and I'd love to hear from you or like whatever. And so like, I've got all this energy, into helping. And it just seems to make so much more sense to just be like, hey, look, if I were to send you this thing, would you take a look at it and then let me know what you think? Or like, hey, take a look at it and I'll talk to you tomorrow, or like whatever. But then it's like, not only is there like the reciprocity, but there's like a plan, so you don't have to sit there going, boy, I hope they really look at it. I really want them to. And, oh, it's important to me. And, you're spending all this time and energy caring and they may not even care. So there's one. And number two, if you word it in that way, if you say, hey, if I did this, would you mind, or would you, or whatever, like, then you're almost giving them more reason to care.
Exactly.
So they go from not really caring to, okay, actually now I'm invested in keeping my word. So I love it.
Yeah, he goes a little bit further and says, and sets that to your point, Debbie. He said that's great, Debbie, because you're absolutely right. And he also, when you set the plan, he also says, so when do you think you could have a chance to look at it? Now, I'm still not comfortable going that far yet, but he'll say, so when do you think you can look at it? They go, oh, well, by Wednesday. Okay, so if I call you on Wednesday, will you have looked at it? Like he'll go even further than that. And so you can look up Eric Worre, and I think it's the number one question. And he has I don't know. But he has a YouTube videos out the wazoo and a podcast.
How do you spell that?
WORRE.
Okay, thanks.
What is his name of his business? Just Google him and you'll see a lot of stuff by Eric Worre. So, and some of it's really good. So yeah, but he goes further. He likes, so to your point, hey, if I sent you this, would you give a chance to look at it and give me some feedback? Great. Can I call you on Thursday? Do you think you'll have time to look at it by then? So, but if you want to know the real way, I'm still not there yet. I'm work in progress. Anything else that y'all like? What was that one that I've liked? All I know is I lost weight. All I know is I feel better. So, all right. So let me just finish up with a few things. Oh, one thing that I really liked, which I learned from listening to the leadership call last night or Monday night. That was last night. Did y'all listen? They showed how to go through the health assessment. Love the follow-up text. Love the follow-up text. When you get done and they say, well, let me have some time to think about it. I just want to talk to my husband. If you follow up, say, great talking with you. I loved hearing your goals. And then maybe the story reminded me of something you wanted. And you can find a story in Simple Systems, or ask your mentor coach around what story to find, and maybe create a library of different stories of people with different situations. And then, but you know what it does? And then you can say, I'll follow up with you in a couple of days or something like that. But what it does is it takes that awkwardness out of when are you going to follow up with them. Because it gives them you've already followed up, so now you can do it again. Because I find that that's what people have the hardest time. They'll present it, and then when do you follow up? I will tell you this, if my coach did not follow up with me, and she was kind of systematic, it was interesting, like 3 days, 2 or 3, maybe 2 days, but it was maybe a day or so, but she followed up. I would never, ever have taken the next step and called her, ever in a million years. And I can think of at least 5 people that have wanted me to maybe buy something from them, whether it be a home-based business or advertising or business things, business tools. If they would have called me one more time, or if they would ask, I would buy. I wouldn't say no, I would buy, but they don't ask. And they made that point last night. Invite them to, would you like to get started? Would you like to take this to the next step? Would you like to, because I promise you, people, we don't ask enough. We do not ask the question. On the other hand, it's really important, especially when you're developing relationships, unless you know someone's interested, don't ask right away. Because an example of this was one of my friends, kind of a close friend, was like a high level in a business, and she just, I guess she got laid off and a part of a layoff, so she has some severance time. And so I've been, talking to her more. I'm interested to see if she might be interested in doing what I'm doing. But I don't know if she's interested yet. So I've been helping her. I invited her to my networking group because I know she's looking at HR, talked about doing some things together. So I'm just kind of playing along. Where is she going? Is there a dovetail fit? Talk to her, her boyfriend, and he does big business, and they heard what I'm doing, and you should talk to executive coaches and things like that. So they put me in, and I was like, no, I want you to do it. I don't want to do it. I want you to do it, and but I didn't say anything. And then today she went with me to the networking group. So I'm just introducing her people, situations, finding what she's looking for. She's still looking for either a job or consulting. And she says, and she told me about some networking thing she was putting together. I said, oh, what happened to that networking thing you were putting together? Oh, she says, oh, that girl was a Lulu. She says she just wanted me to sell Rodan and Fields. And so it was really good that I waited, because now I have credibility with her. I have respect with her. I don't know, what she was interested in. And this girl did not wait and see, is she interested? Do we have a connection to take her to the next step? So those are the things you want to learn. Take the next step, but don't. But I think by asking more questions and really finding what makes them tick, and would they be interested in exploring more. So anyway, and we have 1 minute left, but I want to share something real quick. Was that confused? Did everyone understand that and understand kind of what you're looking for? Really looking for what they're interested in. And would this be, because y'all are on this call, it's a really, it's a good fit for you, right? This is a good fit. I mean, this is a great thing when it's the right thing, but sometimes it's not. And so we really want it to be a good fit, because it's so nice when it is. Okay, real quick. Return policy. There is a new return policy. Do y'all know it? I think you can find it in the Optavia answers, right? I think. Anyway, there are no more exchanges. And I was a little taken aback, because what happened, and this is something to be aware of, but they wanted this because it was so confusing. The exchanges took so long. They had to get it back and get it. So what they said, they wanted to be like Nordstrom's, that, they return things. So our clients can return things at any time. And then they will repurchase something else. Now, if it's one or two things, get this. If it's one or two boxes, they will just send them the new things that they want. Yes. Susan Giesland looks confused. Yes. How's that for customer service? Isn't that awesome? So if your client, so what that gives us the ability to say, you know what? And this is, my coach taught me this. She says, you will know, to tell my client, okay, who's trying to get started, you will know in a week or so if this works for you. You'll know. And we all know if it worked for us in a week. And if it doesn't, I'll help you send it back. And if it does, I'll help you move forward. And so now we can really have someone take a look at it, and they can send everything back. Here's the thing for us, though, and there's two things. One is, though, so when there's 3 or more, they return it. Oh, I know what it is. The client purchases the new items. So they purchase it. And then when they get the returned items, the card is credited within 2 days. Now, here's the caveat, though. Here's the kicker. The kicker is they have to pay shipping, which they didn't have to do with the exchange process. But I think I'm liking this better. And what this means for you guys. So in order to get the client, so what we can do so the client doesn't have to pay shipping, let's recommend moving their B Slim up a week, a few days. That way they don't have to pay shipping for their exchanged items, and that they don't have to pay shipping. Let's just move their B Slim up. That's what I would recommend doing. That's what client services recommended too. So the good news and the bad news, but I think it's more good news now. But here's a thing that's a little bit that you really want to pay attention to is that when you're trying to make a rank or help someone make a rank, because it does impact your income. It could be 5%, which could be another, 60, 100, couple $100. And so what you want to do is be aware that now people can return. And so always, and you might not know that, and it might impact. So go a little over. If you're trying to make a ranked executive director, don't go 6,001. Because you never know when it's going to hit the 2 days. I mean, that's a little, so it's good to go over anyway. So just make sure you go like $100 over or something like that. Just so it's a good habit anyway. The follow-up text I've already talked about. Health for the holidays. There's a trilogy call on Sunday, and then there is some training leading up to that. I will post all of that. I just found out about it right before our call, so I will post it, and it's something that you can invite people to. So, hey, if I gave you this link, would you hop on? So, all right. Well, that's all I have. Anyone have any questions or? Do y'all like the new return policy or that exchange thing? Cindy?
Question. So if a client wants to return 2 boxes, whether opened or not opened, they'll tell them to send it back?
I think so. I think they'll just send it.
Can you clarify what you were saying about like, hey, let's just recommend moving up the B Slim to avoid paying shipping? I don't quite understand that. What
Right, good question. So in other words, if someone orders, say I want to return 5 boxes, and then I'm going to have to, so I pay for 5, if I pay for 5 new boxes, I also have to pay for shipping because it's less. And so what you can say is, okay, let's return these, send them back when they, and then let's move your B Slim up to get the things that you want so you don't run out. And then you don't have to pay for shipping. And so even if it's 3 boxes, okay, great. And you can go ahead and just say that and do it too. You can say, hey, what I'm going to do, send these back. So you don't have to pay shipping. I'm going to move your B Slim up so you don't run out. And that way, it's just a normal process for you.
They don't pay shipping to return things.
They do. They've always had to pay shipping to return things.
So they're paying shipping both ways, unless we change it and add the thing to the new stuff to the new B Slim. Okay.
Exactly. I didn't like that so much because it does put the onus on them to pay shipping twice, and the shipping's expensive. It's not like it's cheap, but I think the B Slim way will work fine. I think if they're engaged, they'll be fine with that. Don't you think so?
Yeah.
I think they'll be fine moving it.
Totally.
And you're actually doing them a favor, not having them pay shipping. Here, I've got a solution for you. We'll move your B Slim up. We'll change it even now what you want. In fact, that's a good thing, to start thinking about what they want next month. So, all right. Thanks, guys.
Good night.
Night, everybody.
At least you tried. It doesn't